Another Hot Toys Spider-Man figure, let's take a look. Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. Another video, another Hot Toy. This time we are taking a look at the Amazing Spider-Man. So this is the Hot Toys movie masterpiece MMS 244, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure. I cannot wait to crack this open. My Hot Toys collection is slowly growing and I'm really pleased to be able to add Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to the mix. So without further ado, let's open him up and take a look.
Okay, let's take a really quick look at the box from the outside. Now, I must admit the artwork on the front of this box is really quite nice. I do like a box that you can kind of display, or that it makes you want to keep hold of it. But all of the Hot Toy boxes, they put a lot of effort into that kind of design and the delivery of those boxes. So you've got like a shiny bit, and you've also got like a matte part as well. So Spider-Man and the words behind him do kind of stand out when you kind of put it in the light, as you can see there. The box has got kind of a split half there, and on the back there's the credits of who put the figure together and all the rest of it. So opening the box up, let's take a look. So as I said, the top of the box comes off in like a split, really quite nice. I'm a massive fan of Amazing Spider-Man 2, so I am proper excited about this particular figure. Inside the box you've got this inlay, and that again has the credits on it of who was involved in the production of this figure as well. And like with all Hot Toys, you've got a handful of different shelves. Is that the right word? Shelves? Let's call them shelves. One with a figure and some of the accessories, and then under one you've got some more accessories and the stand. But there he is, there's the figure with a handful of his accessories. Now, the accessories that are involved in this one are a little bit random, but they're quite cool as well. The bottom shelf has the stand and it has the additional hands. Let's have a look at those hands. Just got to take this off. I don't want to kind of take this off and then it be like one of those games where everything flies up and disappears. You've got the booklet with the instructions, and you've got the Amazing Spider-Man 2 stand. I really love this web and logo, and you've got a nice metallic finish plate at the front that says the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man. Of course you've got your signature kind of Diamond Select display stand, and somewhere in here as well, there it is the clip that holds onto the figure. So no doubt I'll be setting these up and putting him in some kind of dynamic pose so that he goes on my shelf along with some of the other Spider-Man figures in a bit of a dynamic pose. Now, you've got a handful of hands. There we go, excuse the pun. And they've got magnets in them. So they're not full hands, they're just from the fingers, which is quite an interesting take. As I said, I'm quite new in regards to Hot Toy collecting. I've been swapping out a lot of my figures for Hot Toys, and I've not had a Hot Toy yet where the hands are interchangeable like this. They're full hands that come off. So it's quite interesting, and I suppose cost effective for the company maybe, to create these hands that have got these little magnets and these little kind of pegs, so you can pull off the fingers on the figure and replace it with different expressions of hands. So there's kind of some holding hands there, there's web slinging hands, there's open hands, and there's also what looks to be kind of wall crawling hands as well. But let's get on to the next shelf, and that's the actual figure itself. So before getting to the figure, let's go through some of the accessories. Now, I said the accessories in here are a bit random. The reason being is that you've got the puffer jacket, hat and scarf, which you saw for a really brief moment in the film in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he was ill and he goes into the store to pick up some medicine, and he's kind of all wrapped up because he's got a cold. So that's a bit of a random look. You have got 4 web pieces. Now, they are standard web pieces, so there's 2 short ones and 2 longer ones as well. So there's no kind of swinging one there or anything like that, but they are quite cool, so I'm sure I'll use those, no doubt about it. Now, the puffer jacket's made really nicely. The clothing on all Hot Toys is made really nicely, and I'm still getting over the fact that they come with like working zippers and stuff, so you can actually zip it up if you wanted to. Now, I don't know if you actually would, because then that would kind of cover up a lot of the Spider-Man costume, but it's kind of cool to have a puffer jacket. Is that what they're called? Or a thermal vest? I don't know what the actual terminology. Body warmer. There we go, a body warmer. To actually have a body warmer, so I could potentially use this with another figure, but it's made really nicely. You've got the scarf there as well, again an accessory that I could use on a different figure, and you've got like a little beanie hat as well. So all the colours and designs and that match the ones that you did see on the movie. And then my favourite accessory, I think, is this megaphone. So this is right at the end of the film where he faces off against the Rhino, he grabs the megaphone, and then you've got a backpack. Sorry, I'm going to go back. you got the backpack that he's wearing in that scene where he's catching a cold. Just seeing if I can actually undo this buckle or not. I'm sure that it's probably a working buckle, but I'm going to take a proper look at that at a later date. But yeah, the megaphone is from that scene at the end. So you've got kind of a costume change for him at the beginning and a costume change for him at the end. Or it's not really a costume change, but an accessory to make him in the style of the end of the movie. And then you have the actual figure itself. And here it is, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Now, my first thoughts are that the eyepieces aren't bright enough. I vividly remember them being quite bright in the film, but I did go back and have a look, and these are actually in keeping with how they look. I think it was just for a lot of the promotional images he had those kind of brighter eyes. The instruction booklet tells you all the kind of standard stuff, as in, you know, don't try to take the mask off, don't hyperextend on any of the joints, don't be careful of the fabric, and be careful of the logos and stuff. So it is always worth having a read through these just to see what your figure can and can't do. What's quite cool is it shows you here how to change out all the hands, but we know that anyway. Now it does say that it has toe articulation, which I've not been able to pick up on yet. It shows you how to put all the clothes on, but what is interesting is that because he's got the actual web shooters, the web pieces do go directly into those. So they are exposed, the web shooters, as it is in his costume, and you can actually put the webs straight into those. So it's quite easy to have a look at, you know, there's no changing kind of ball joints and stuff. Now it did say about articulated toes, but as you can see there from the bottom of the shoe, there's no kind of clean break. So if there is articulation in the toes, then you're going to have to kind of crease the bottom of that shoe. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. In regards to the articulation, it's got all the articulation that you would expect from a hot toy, but I must admit, when you kind of put his arms up, he goes a bit shoulder heavy, and when you bend the knees, it does kind of catch a little bit on the knees as well. I'm just going to try to swap one of these hands over quickly. Oh, that's really straightforward to do. And because the web lines, you can't actually see the break. Well, you can see the break, that's a lie, but it's not as obvious as I thought it was going to be. Now, having a look at these web lines, there is only one way that they fit in, and just be careful because it's a thin bit of plastic, you don't want to break that. But it does the job and it looks awesome. The actual web pieces are nice as well. They've got kind of a silvery finish as well, so it kind of gives it multi-layered texture there as well. And it's quite cool to see the web shooters exposed on his wrist like that, because after all, he does have the web shooters exposed. They're something that he develops and builds in that first film, so it is quite cool to see them. It's a nice little detail. Now the articulation doesn't feel as flexible, if that's the right word, but yeah, it doesn't feel as flexible. Let's use that word, but it doesn't feel as flexible as I thought it would. It's going to be quite difficult to get him into kind of Spider-Man-esque poses without feeling like I'm going to tear the suit. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful with this one. I'm trying to get a bit of toe articulation there, because without toe articulation, it does limit the poses he can be in. But here's a very basic kind of setup of just him spinning some web. But you can see that the web fits in there really nicely. It doesn't add any real weight to the figure. It doesn't kind of put any pressure on that wrist or on that elbow. And yeah, I think I'll probably be displaying him shooting webs, because just to kind of utilize those web spinners. But yeah, that looks alright. Overall though, I'm really pleased. He's a good Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I think that my personal choice, I really did enjoy The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I did love the look of the costume, the big kind of spider emblem on the back, the spider emblem on the chest as well. I loved the big oversized eyes, and they've got that kind of mesh look as well. So they've got like a glass, well it's not glass, but it's like plastic covering, and then there's the mesh underneath. So it really does look like he does on the film. The actual costume, you have the kind of scales on the blue, and it's got that kind of wetsuit feel to it, and then it's more of a material on the red. The web lines are painted over with some kind of like plasticky acrylic, so they are raised, but they are very much how they looked in the film. And then the actual suit itself has got some detailing as well. If you look really carefully, you can see kind of the scales, and it's got a slight metallic finish to it as well, which doesn't show up particularly well in this video. But overall, he looks really good, really good. There's even the detail on the bottom of his feet there. The soles of his feet have the grip that he has. But yeah, overall it's a really nice piece. And if you're a fan of Andrew Garfield, they are releasing a newer version of this particular costume because of the No Way Home film. They are releasing a newer one, but if you can pick this one up at a decent price, this will definitely fill that void for an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man in your collection. As I said, I couldn't really move into Hot Toys and not pick up an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, so I'm really pleased that I have. Let's just have a look at this kind of body warmer and beanie hat. I'm not going to undo the scarf because you don't need to see what the scarf looks like, but it's there. It's there if you want it. But yeah, I don't really know who would display poorly Spider-Man, because that's what he was at the end of the day. But yeah, there he is. He looks like he did in the film when he was not very well. But yeah, I don't really know who would display him in this look. Kind of looks like he's been working on a construction site. And it was such a small portion of the film, I don't know if it's iconic enough to warrant me wanting to display a figure of this price in that particular look. Let's just cut a little bit and get this megaphone in his hand. So yeah, for the sake of time, I've just cut the video there because I was messing around looking for the right hand to hold it, but there's a very obvious set of hands that are designed to hold that megaphone, so you can hold it in either his left or his right hand. Obviously he doesn't wear the beanie hat and the body warmer at that particular point, but just to show you how that megaphone looks in his hand, it's all to scale, it all looks very good. I think I would have quite happily have sacrificed all these accessories for an unmasked head though, but you know, we haven't got one at the end of the day. The way that this is designed as well, the mask goes right down to the neck, so you can't take that head out. But yeah, here he is. You can see the kind of slight, no, it's not even metallic, but slight kind of reflective look of the spider logo and the web lines. All in all though, this is a really awesome figure that's going to look very cool on my Spider-Man display. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I picked him up. Really pleased.
I'm not going to lie, I'm absolutely loving my growing collection of Hot Toys Spider-Man action figures. And this Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure is no exception. Yes, there are a couple of little accessories I would have liked to have seen with it, like an unmasked head maybe. But all in all, it's a really cool figure. And once he's posed up and in the shelf, he's going to look absolutely fantastic. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and all those things. And I'll see you soon.